Hey guys, how's it going? So, One Piece chapter 993 has dropped, and this was a really good chapter. It looks like the tides of the battle are slowly shifting in Kaido's favor. Before I start with this video, I want you guys to know that this video will contain spoilers, and if you have not caught up with the latest One Piece chapter, then I highly recommend you checking it out and then getting back to this video. Now that that's out of the way, let's start with the review of One Piece chapter 993 titled Wano Country's Dream. We start off with the cover story, and looks like we are still on the gang pages Oh My Family cover story. We saw Gotti getting married to Lola, and in the background we see Chiffon, Vito, Pound, and Beige rejoicing over the marriage. I guess the only good thing about this cover story is that we see Pound finally being present for something important in one of his daughter's lives. I really hope the cover story ends with this chapter because it has really dragged on for a long time and we already have about 37 volumes of this cover story, and I think that it's high time that this ends. Hopefully, it ends in this chapter and we get a different cover story for the next chapter. Towards the side of the cover story, we see that Oda has given a comment that the climax of Act 3 is upon us. The long awaited 97th volume of the climax of the Onigashima War is now on sale. Looks like from this comment, Act 3 is going to end soon, and I'm really excited for this. The chapter starts off with us moving away from Onigashima to the flower capital. Here, we see all the citizens are having fun at the fire festival. I love how Oda has used a narrator in this instance to express the feelings of the citizens. The narrator starts off by telling us, the audience, that the flower capital is the only prosperous place in all of Wano, and that behind the smiles of these residents that are celebrating the fire festival lies a feeling of oppression and fear they have lived with up until now. Till this date, they believe that the Kozuki clan will come back and help liberate Wano from the tyranny of Kaido and Orochi. Even though they think that this implausible legend may never happen, they still cling on to it, as that is the only way that they are able to support themselves. We then see small panels of various residents wishing that this night would never end. One thinks to himself that he won't be able to drink for another year and really wish that Kaido did not have Orochi's back. Then, we cut to a group of people who are drinking and coming up with scenarios like what if the battle between the Kozukis and Kaido are happening right now and Orochi is cut down and Kaido is defeated. This is followed by another person who tells the others that today is the day they can dream all they want. We then see some citizens talking about how clean the air is and that they should breathe as much of it as they can since they won't be getting this quality of air for another year. A few of them are also talking about the quality of the water. We see all of them dancing and having a lot of fun, knowing that tomorrow they will go back to living horrible lives. I really like how Oda is putting emphasis on the thoughts of the citizens because this makes us feel a bit more empathy towards them and it makes us feel invested in their well being. So far, we have got a few snippets here and there where we started to feel for the citizens, but this helps us feel more for them. This has happened in almost every arc where the Straw Hats have liberated the citizens of a certain country. Oda is slowly setting the tone and the atmosphere, and this shows us how high the stakes are for the Alliance. After this, we cut back to Onigashima, where we see a beautiful panel of the skull in the background, with the waves crashing and showing the weather seems to be getting worse. I really love the contrast between the flower capital and Onigashima, where one side people are enjoying and having a party, but deep down they just want to escape from all of this, and on the other side you have people fighting to the death to liberate their country. Back in the main hall, we see a bunch of Fodder Beast pirates running away from what looks like monsters. We get a comment from Drake saying that just as he had thought, it was the plague. So it looks like this is something similar to what happened in the Udon prison mine. We see this plague is spreading. Looks like all the speculation of what bullets Queen had shot is now over. We see Queen ordering the beast pirates to close all the doors so that nobody can escape. He says that these are his greatest invention. He calls these bullets the Excite Bullet, Ice Demon. And from the looks of it, these bullets turn the infected person into what looks like an ice demon. We then cut to the first floor of the basement inside the castle, where we see Luffy trying to make his way up to fight Kaido. While fighting some of the other fodder beast pirates, Sanji stops him and tells him to carry on and to save his strength for Kaido. He attacks these beast pirates when we see a headliner by the name of Briscola who has a gorilla smile. We then get a shocking reaction from Sanji and Luffy as Briscola has a gorilla for his arm, and it looks really weird. We then see a comedic interaction between the headliner and Sanji, and then he proceeds to attack Sanji, which Sanji is able to dodge with ease. Luffy realizes that there are many people around them and decides to attack them to clear the way. He is then stopped by Sanji, who tells him to save strength for Kaido. The two then begin to argue about how it would be easier if Luffy just dealt with them. While this is happening, we see Jinbei using a fishman karate move and one-shotting the headliner. Jinbei then tells Luffy and Sanji that he is there to escort them to the rooftop. We then see a hilarious interaction between Jinbei and Sanji. Sanji wants Jinbei to keep an eye on Luffy because at any moment Luffy could just jump out and attack the enemy around them. We then cut to a scene where a cat is looking at Yamato chasing Momonosuke and Shinobu. And then we see Bao Huang telling King that they are leaving the tower and heading outside. King informs the other members of the Beast Pirates that the enemy forces consist of around 5,400 men, and the majority of them are samurai, which means that this rebellion is for the revival of the Kozuki clan. He tells the Beast Pirates that the rebellion planned to make Kozuki Momonosuke the shogun of Wano. He orders all the Beast Pirates to find Momonosuke, kill him, and bring him his head. By doing so, it will crush the will of the rebellion. He tells them the location, and we see that Sasaki has responded saying that he has found them. I really like how King has taken charge of everything and is making sure that everything is handled while Kaido is busy on the rooftop dealing with the scabbards. Sasaki then orders a group to fire at Shinobu and Momo. We see a huge explosion followed by a wave of arrows. At this moment, Shinobu uses herself to block the attack and protect Momo. She is injured by the arrows and drops to the ground. She is then attacked by a member, and in this moment, she tells Momo to run away. Momo questions himself whether a shogun would run away in a situation like this. I really like the fact that Momo is slowly starting to think like a leader. We can see that Luffy has had a pretty good influence on him. I feel that Momo has had some of the best character development in this arc. Yamato comes just in time to save both Momo and Shinobu, and we are then introduced to this group as the armed corps of the Beast Pirates. Sasaki questions Yamato as to why she is still acting out. Yamato tells Sasaki that in the name of the Kozuki clan, she will be participating in this war. We then cut to the rooftop, where we see Kaido on the ground, and he is bleeding from the cut that is given to him by the scabbards in the last chapter. One of the scabbards say that they need to slash his windpipe and make sure that he doesn't take another breath. They say that until Kaido's head isn't off his body, they haven't won. Looks like a lot of emphasis is being put on cutting Kaido's head. This could indicate that this is the only way for Kaido to go down. Kaido responds by saying that the tenacity of the scabbards made him, for a moment, think that it was Odin attacking him. He says that he wouldn't have minded if he was killed by the scabbards at that moment. When his wound aches, he is reminded of Odin. But as he had expected, the scabbards are not Odin. He says that there will never be a samurai as monstrous as Odin. And with this, we see him rising, and in a beautiful shot, with the moon and the snow in the background. He tells the scabbards that their cuts were too shallow and that with that level of strength, they would never be able to completely open up his old wound. He says that the scabbards are too weak and then lets out a roar. This roar transforms into wind sights. These sights are blocked by most of the scabbards, but Kiku is unable to block it, and the sights chop off one of her arms and breaks her sword as well. This is then followed by the reaction of Izo, Kinemon, and Kiku, thus ending the chapter. Oh boy, what a chapter. These past few chapters, we've seen that the scabbards have been getting a lot of hits on Kaido, and it looks like now Kaido is going on the counterattack. This is very likely to lead to the downfall of the scabbards. I expect that in the coming chapters, all of the scabbards will be defeated, with possibly some of them even dying. Looks like Act 3 will come to an end soon, and according to a traditional Kabuki play structure, Act 3 usually ends in some form of tragedy. I plan to make a video on how I believe this will play out, so stay tuned for that. Looks like there won't be a break next week, and things are getting really exciting. I am so hyped and I cannot wait for the next chapter. To me, this chapter was a solid 8 out of 10. So, this was my review of chapter 993. If you liked the video, then do hit the like button and leave your thoughts in the comment section below. If you enjoy content like this, then do hit the subscribe button. It really does help a lot. And don't forget to turn on the bell notifications to be updated when I post new videos. As always, hope you guys have an amazing day. This is Rajan signing out.